Walker's family. We chose this one. This is episode 434, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang from 1968. I'm Joey Lewandowski.
I'm Joe, too. And this episode's brought to you by RetroGP.com. Historic motorsports merchandise. Get all your classic F1 gear at RetroGP.com.
Shout out to RetroGP.com and welcome to Too Fast, Too Forever. Joe, first question. Everybody wants to know, is this Rachel's favorite movie?
She fucking loves it. She does. Unironically, like, she was like, one of the notes I have early on in this is her looking at me last night going, I needed this joy.
I had never seen this before. Had you seen this before? Had she made you watch this before or no?
She has never made me watch this. I'm fairly confident that I watched it as a child at some point,
okay.
like probably at my grandparents' house. I couldn't have told you what it was about or anything about it, but it felt like a movie that I've seen on television. Like, my grandparents loved Dick Van Dyke, right? So,
because she is for years, Rachel, your wife, your lovely wife, Rachel, has been for years saying, can you please do this for the podcast? I want Joe to watch it. I need Joe to watch it, blah, blah, blah. And finally, when we did this second time around with this theme, we're like, all right, fine, we'll do Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Because other people, like I think Nicole Sweeney, who was on here like years ago, like this is her favorite, like when we're asking like favorite car movie, like this was her favorite car, like this has been on the podcast for a while. I knew nothing about it other than Flying Car. Did not know Floating Car, but I knew Flying Car.
Okay.
I thought, so we had mentioned very briefly in the last Fastlane that it's not on any streaming platform. It's on the library one. It's on Tubi with ads, but it's not on. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, it feels weird that it's not on Disney Plus. Like, isn't this a Disney movie? And it's not, but there's like the whole backstory. And so if you don't know what Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is, a down on his luck inventor, Dick Van Dyke, turns a broken down Grand Prix car into a fancy vehicle for his children, and then they go off on a magical fantasy adventure to save their grandfather in a far off land. So the team behind this, I don't know if you recognized any names from the opening credits.
No, Albert Broccoli is the only one that I noted because it's Albert Broccoli.
Well, so Albert Broccoli is noteworthy for two things.
Okay.
Nicknamed Cubby, that's not what he's known for. His family invented broccoli, truly.
Invented broccoli.
They also were, for decades, the owner of James Bond.
Oh, I didn't know either of those. Cool.
Yes. So like, it's funny. His last name is Broccoli. It's like, yeah, it's broccoli because the food's broccoli because they made the food. Like it's the weirdest thing. But yes, Albert Cubby Broccoli, Broccoli family, the food.
Made broccoli.
And also James Bond. Yes.
Cool. Okay. Interesting. Off to a good start.
That is the start. So all of this is framed around that. So directed by this guy, Ken Hughes, who did Casino Royale, but not the new James Bond, the original bad, whatever James Bond that people don't love. Like it's sort of maligned, but early James Bond.
I have a fun story about that Casino Royale. The vinyl edition of the soundtrack has like a song on it, The Look of Love. You know the song, The Look
Dusty Springfield, yeah.
Dusty Springfield, yes. All the old audio heads, there's like 2 albums that they use to calibrate their speakers, and that is one of them.
Interesting,
So that like that album is worth like a ton of money because it's like a benchmark and like kind of a rare, weird thing, but that's what they use. And I have a copy.
I think I haven't mentioned, you do have a copy.
I have a copy, yeah. I found one digging in a record crate at one time for like $5 or something, and it's like worth like $100 now or something.
Nice.
But yes.
I think I've mentioned here that my friends and I do this like March Madness style of like musical artists, and the one that I just did, who just lost because she was facing Paul McCartney, was Dusty Springfield. And I was like listening to her music, and I'm like, cause she's British, I'm like, she feels like she has done a Bond theme. And I looked it up and it's like, well, kind of. Not really, but kind of. Kind of.
Yeah. And it's a hit beyond James Bond.
It's a great song. Yes, she's great. So directed by Ken Hughes at Casino Royale. So the background on Ken Hughes is everyone was like, this is a weird choice, and critics said he was a bad choice to be the director. He had never made a musical, had never worked with children, and had poor relationships with several cast members and crew, and he later admitted that he did not have fun making this movie and hates the finished movie.
Oh, okay. Wild, sure. Okay. Hey, we're back on track. We're back like, what was the last lap where everybody hated the movie?
Well, that's usually
it was every
the author who writes the book that becomes adapted, but this is the guy who made the movie just like, nah, fuck that movie.
That's also fair. Cool.
Originally written by, because it's based on a book, Ian Fleming, who is the guy who created James Bond and wrote all the James Bond books.
Yes.
It was adapted by Earl Hamner Jr. wrote the original screenplay. He's not credited. Ken Hughes has a writing credit, but he was replaced, both of them were replaced or whatever, by Roald Dahl.
Yes, yes.
Willy Wonka.
Yes.
Also,
that I did catch. I did catch and mentioned this to Rachel when
he also wrote You Only Live Twice, which is a Bond movie. So there's weird stuff going on there. Like it's like the Bond family or the Bond production team is
the
just
Broccoli
like,
family, Joey.
The Broccoli family. But I'm just saying, like, the director, like, everybody. Everybody. Because later in this movie, when there's, like, the candy thing, I'm like, oh, this feels like Willy Wonka. It's like, well, it's not because it's before Willy Wonka, but it just
feels like
Wendy,
yes.
Candy.
Yep. Okay.
So, produced by Albert Broccoli, Bond fame, Peter R. Hunt, and Stanley Sobel, who did Bond stuff. This is the only non-James Bond film produced by Cubby Broccoli after the Bond movies began. So he made only Bond movies. He's like, I'm also going to make
Chitty Chitty Bang
Bang. It's based on a novel by Ian Fleming. Features performances by two actors from the Bond movies. Two gadget men, Mr. Coggins and Q, played by Desmond Llewellyn, and Gert Frobe, who played cartoonist evil villains Baron Bombburst and Goldfinger.
Yes. Okay.
Cubby Broccoli's goal here, and this is why I was confused, I think, because I'm like, in my head, it's just like, this is a kid's movie from the 60s. It's got to be a Disney, because it's Mary Poppins, right? Cubby Broccoli was like, we're going to make Mary Poppins again. Like, fuck Mary Poppins. We're going to do our own Mary Poppins. And so they hired the Mary Poppins songwriters, the Sherman Brothers.
Cool.
They hired the same musical arranger, the same choreographer. They hired Dick Van Dyke. They hired Julie Andrews. They're like, this is perfect. Julie Andrews drops out. Nobody still to this day probably knows why. But they're like, we got all the
pieces of Mary Poppins
behind Mary Poppins. We are literally going to remake Mary Poppins. The one thing that I saw, there's a couple things I saw on Letterboxd, like the themes over and over. But one was like, this movie is so fucking long. It's 2 hours and 25 minutes long. There is the intermission, there's the entr'acte, there's the, or I don't know how to pronounce that, but there's the outro music, there's the intro, like, there's just like, it's like a production. It's only 5 minutes longer than Mary Poppins. So like, people love Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins is a better movie than this, but in terms of length, it's like, it's not crazy, because Mary Poppins is like 220 and this is 225.
Yeah.
So
similar runtime.
The only trivia more about Cubby Broccoli is that Truly's car, Cub 1, also the fact that her name is Truly Scrumptious is also an
Truly Scrumptious, yeah.
Truly's car is Cub 1, so Cubby Broccoli.
Makes sense.
Shot by Christopher Chalice, who made Top Secret. This is where I don't fully understand. The budget was 10 to 12 million. It made 7.5 million in rentals. Not sure. It was the 10th highest grossing film in 1969, but because the budget was so high, United Artists lost about $8 million on its original run.
Okay.
That same year, 5 films produced by Harry Saltzman, Battle of Britain among them, lost United Artists $19 million. All these financial difficulties combined caused United Artists to scale back their operations in the UK. And Dick Van Dyke said this year, who, by the way, he will turn 100 years old in December.
He will, and did you hear his joke? He said it'd be really funny if I died right before I reached 100.
Well, didn't Betty White die right before she made 100 too? Like she was like 98 or whatever?
He specifically came out and said, was like last month, 2 weeks ago, he was like, if I die in the next couple months, it'd be pretty funny if I don't make it to 100. I was like, okay, cool.
Well, he said that he was supposed to get 20% of the box office for the movie, but never saw a dime. He also apparently on this movie, he was like 45 when this movie came out, or 40 or something. This movie came out in 68, right? So he would have been like 43 or something. Felt something pop, went to the doctor. The doctor's like, you're riddled with arthritis. You might never walk again. And then like 8 years ago, or whenever that Mary Poppins Returns, the thing where Emily Blunt, like Saving Mr. Banks, right? The whatever,
sure.
Where it's like, it was the making of Mr. Poppins based on the, or Mary Poppins based on the real life thing or whatever. Like or maybe it's, I don't know, whatever. 8 years ago, he sang and danced when he was like 91 or whatever. So like he still obviously still danced forever. 70% of Rotten Tomatoes, 71 by the audience. Nominated for Oscar for Best Original Song, but lost to a song from that year's The Original Thomas Crown Affair. Also nominated for Best Original Song and Best Original Score at the Golden Globes, but lost those as well. And there are no crazy credits. But Joe, off the rip, our first pit stop in the classic car movies, Lap 2. What did you think of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang?
So full disclosure, based on a recommendation from Rachel, we watched this movie last night while boozing.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great experience. I had a very delightful time. I actually really, really enjoyed this.
Shocking.
I'm not so strong on what happens after the child snatcher arrives type situation. Mm-hmm. I was starting to drift there as it takes a very fantastical turn in the late third of it or half of it, whatever. Sure. The rest of it I actually really, really liked, and considering it is a musical and it is so wacky and weird and silly, I think that I have less problems with classical musicals because my expression that I hate the jazz handification of a musical when it comes from now is because we've gone past that. But this is kind of an homage to this timing. And that's why it still exists, but this feels more sincere. It's literally what a musical was at the time, framed like that.
Yep.
And also, one of my biggest gripes is that this isn't a song tucked into a movie. The musical parts of these old musicals drive the story.
Interesting.
I feel like every time I made it 20 minutes into Wicked or something, right? And that felt like there is songs because here is a song placed inside a film to become a musical.
Right.
These all felt like these were part of the story. And also just Dick Van Dyke is great, right? He's fucking crushing. Yes. He's crushing. I forget what number it was.
Look at you using lingo. Number. Whew.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, Rachel is a theater kid, dude. There's one that he's on stage with a bunch of dudes, and you see him learning the
that's where he gets the money to buy the car.
Yeah, and he's learning the steps. For him to be, this was super cool in the sense that how good do you have to be at dancing to make it look bad?
Yep.
And then learn it and you watch him get progressively better at the steps throughout the number. I'm this is fucking nuts. You're great. Cool. So, I had a good time. How about you? What did you think about this?
Well, I was mostly curious to see if you loved it or hated it, because this feels like the kind of movie that you would not like, you would never watch by your own accord. But
no,
also,
definitely not.
Rachel loves it so much that maybe that would bleed over into you. And I also think what you were saying makes all the sense in the world, that newer things that try to do this feel posery, but this is no, this is what they're all trying to be or whatever.
They feel insincere, yeah.
So I think your point about, and I'm going to get to my overall thoughts in a second. I think your point about this is a movie where the songs drive the story, I don't know if that really makes sense, because to me, the story is insane. There's no story here. It feels like they're just we want to have stuff at a carnival and stuff the car is going to fly and the car is going to float or whatever.
Yes, but still the music is it still gets you from point A to point B. It doesn't feel like a song stuck in between 2 points. You get what I'm saying?
Sure, yes. I just think that this is less of a, it almost feels like 5 half-hour kids TV shows or something, each that have a different thing. It's okay, well now here we're in the place where all the kids are captured by the child catcher or whatever, and it doesn't really feel like I think when you said you started drifting to the end, it's well, this doesn't, the movie's not what the movie was about. And to me it was weird when they're literally flying a car in outer space, and the movie's okay, never mind that right now. We're going to watch Grandfather for 15 minutes. I'm just well, why are we doing this? There's a car in fucking outer space. And so there's weird things like that where it's I don't know what the movie wants me to follow. And so it makes sense that we eventually go back and rescue Grandfather. But
sure.
The story of you're I don't remember what happened. I was drifting. It's well, it kind of doesn't make sense. It makes
it's
sense.
A fever dream.
It's
a fever dream.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because that's what I'm Rachel, what? How did we even wind up with the child snatcher last night? And she's well, they're on the beach.
Yep.
And he starts telling a fairy tale essentially that he's making up, and it then comes to life.
Right, because he's there's a pirate ship over there, and there's a pirates or whatever, and then just
and it's there's a guy and the Mr. Bombardier or whatever his name was. And
because I will say, Margaret had negative interest in watching this. She was please do not watch this with me. I don't want to see this movie. I think she had seen it as a kid or whatever. Okay. I also feel if I had watched this as a kid, I probably would have loved it. But
this felt weird to me too. Why did Margaret not like this? I
don't know. She does not like musicals either. I will tell you.
Oh, okay, fair.
I don't think this movie is good, but I liked how weird it was. I was constantly, like you said, in awe of Dick Van Dyke. I also think Sally Ann Howes, who plays Truly Scrumptious, was great.
She's excellent.
She's
top
only
tier.
This. But I really appreciated watching the movie. I think there's so much weird stuff, good weird, that outweighs the bad weird.
Yeah.
That this is not a movie that I will go back to. This is not a movie that I will have. I didn't love the experience, but I'm just like, oh, this is interesting. Or like all the costumes or all the song and dance. And like the one, like you were saying, the one where he's learning, but to me, the most impressive one might have been where she's like the music box dancer, and like the sound effects are after the fact, but she has to like every single time she like is moving a part of her body and part of her arms, and she's like dancing that and singing it, and just like, I don't know how it feels insane how difficult that must be to do.
Yeah, I'm not a dancey person, but like I can have respect for them being very talented in this situation, which I also think is kind of lost in some modern musicals. I mean, I'm sure people will fillet me for that, but like whenever I like watch anything now, I'm like, oh, these people are kind of just like doing a musical. Like, you know, I don't see anybody that stands like when you watch football and you see somebody make an insane catch, you don't need to watch football to know that that was an insane thing that you saw, right? Like you're just like, this highlight is a highlight for a reason.
Yes.
And I think that this plays here.
There's a guy, Russ Tamblyn, who was in Twin Peaks. He plays Dr. Jacoby. He's also like Amber Tamblyn's dad, but he was another old-timey dancer, and just like stuff, I think I probably mentioned it on here. There's things like that. Like I just ever like once or twice a year, I will watch like this, like one scene from a movie that I've never seen, because he is just like insane. And I think there is something insane like in like a way that is like literally breathtaking. Like I don't know how this guy is doing these dance things. And I think what you were saying about comparing like this to Wicked or whatever is that there's stuff in Wicked where it's blending like CGI with stuff, and like it's all like cutting, and even
that's the other thing. You have to remember all these things are practical.
Yeah.
Right? Like they don't have CG at this point to do any of this shit either. So like every effect that they're doing is somehow practical, and that's bananas as well.
And like Ariana Grande is a great singer, and Cynthia Erivo is a great singer, but like nothing
debatable,
about Wicked
but
is
sure
better than me. But like
yes,
I would say that there's nothing about Wicked that really draw. And like again, I'm gonna quote unquote have to see Wicked for good because it's gonna be nominated for Best Picture, and I want to do all those, and like that's gonna be a slam dunk. But like, I don't want to see a movie with an actual CGI lion. Like, just what are we doing here, folks? I don't know. But
you're going to spend $1 billion. They're going to get matching hand tattoos, but the lion has to be fake. Cool.
Yep. They're also not going to show Dorothy because the story is not about her. Anyway, this is not a Wicked podcast. But
I have many thoughts about these two.
Oh yeah,
and
no,
this Wonder Twin
the last
version that's happened
was, or last press tour or whatever, was insane. Anyway, there's something about that where I don't like. I think that's also like, even though it's not, although it is, it feels fan service-y. It's also like I'm opposed to the literal like, people love Wizard of Oz, let's write a Broadway musical about I don't need the expanded universe.
Exactly. This is the whole thing. This is my whole bitching about musical shits, like in general.
Even though this one is literally like, it seems like from the beginning,
it's Mary Poppins.
Somebody at one point said like, we're going to out Disney. It's just like, they did Mary Poppins, we want to do the same thing and make money. It's like, that is as gross as like, oh, yes, people love Wizard of Oz, let's make basically Wizard of Oz 0 or -1 or whatever, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's the same kind of money grabbing thing, but there's some charm about it.
That's why I said it feels more sincere in a weird way. It's somehow weird.
Okay, let's go through it a little bit if we can. So it starts with like 6 minutes of wordless, no narration.
Formula One racing. They're literally at. Rachel looks at me and she's like, "The British Grand Prix, is that Silverstone?" And I'm like, "Yeah, they're like at the British. It's F1."
They show what feels like basically 3 full races, and I don't really know why, other than at the end, a girl picks up a dog and a car steers away, and I'm just like, is this setting up like, what if cars could fly? But no, that's not what it is. Like later, Truly swerves out of the way of the kids to like not hit them too. But it's again like, could a car float? Could a car fly? Like, it's part of that, but it's not like, hey, remember when you did that thing? Like, wouldn't it be cool if we could do this thing?
The whole thing was just like, that Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was the car. That's the only reason why they showed you this.
But we don't need to see 3 races of that.
We don't. But they were just showing you like it's a winner. This is a winning car.
Even though it eventually winds up like in a scrap heap.
Yeah.
But it also has a little bit of life in it because it like quivers when it's about to be sold to this like bad guy or whatever. It like the engine like chirps or whatever. And the kids are like, look, it's scared. It's scared.
It's a car with a life to it. It's very Herbie of it, by the way.
Yeah. Although that kind of goes away.
Yeah. Then it just becomes a car that can fly. And boat and space.
Introduced to Truly, who brings the kids home. She meets Dick Van Dyke, who is trying to fly with rockets.
Yeah, he's doing something insane. It's like full Wile E. Coyote, rollerblades and bottle rockets trying to fly.
And part of me is just like, is this guy going to
Explode himself?
But no. Like there is a Robert Altman movie, Brewster McCloud, where the kid flies. There is a movie, Birdie, a Nicolas Cage movie, Birdie, early Nicolas Cage movie, where he's friends with a kid who's mentally ill who like thinks he can fly. And at the end, spoilers for Birdie. You're never going to watch Birdie. People, if you want to see the end of it, doesn't really spoil it, but like at the end of Birdie, the kid like jumps off a roof. And you're like, oh my God. And we go, and it's just like, he lands on a roof like 4 feet away, like just like a little bit down. He goes, what? And like the movie ends. And then it cuts immediately to La Bamba. And me and Mike were just like, what the fuck is this movie? That's the end of the movie. So like there's other movies that I've seen where like people fly. And I know that the car flies. And so Dick Van Dyke's trying to figure out flight, but doesn't do it. But I'm like, is this movie going to start with him flying? But no.
So we find out that he's just like an inventor. He's just like a wackadoodle guy that lives in the woods, essentially, with his 2 kids and apparently like his father-in-law. This doesn't seem like his dad, right? Isn't this?
I don't know. Let me check the last
Doesn't matter.
names.
They call him Grandpa, but like.
So Dick Van Dyke's character name is Caractacus Potts, and he's Grandpa Potts. So I think he is the dad, but it just seems like he's like this wacky guy, like who his whole bit is that he goes out. What I thought was an outhouse might be a chicken coop, might just be like a little shed or shack, and goes like, I'm going to go to Africa today. And the kids are like, oh, Grandpa. And then he comes back in. But I think it's dad.
Okay. It just seems like weird. Like that relationship seems more like.
Well, they didn't really talk about the mom, right? Or do they?
They mention her once.
Because the whole movie, the kids are like, can you please marry Truly? She's so pretty. And like maybe the creepiest part of the movie was the kids were like, you're so truly scrumptious. You're truly scrumptious. I'm just like, it's cute, but it's a little creepy.
Yes. We talked about that too. Rachel also felt some type of feelings about that.
I will say it's not on the same level, but I think seeing a room of gadgets of like Rube Goldberg machines is almost control room level for me. Where I'm just like, this is
fucking
like
good.
Because again, it's the practical thing where it's just like somebody had to
practical.
build this thing that like makes an egg in the morning or whatever. Like it doesn't have to work all the time, but it has to work for the movie. And it's just like somebody did that, man.
That's what I'm saying too, bro. Like that shit's crazy to me. Like when we were watching that, I'm like, yeah, like this is awesome. Rachel also agreed she really liked that part of this too. One thing that she did laugh about is she thought that we were watching some kind of weird extended edition, and she thinks she discovered that she just skipped songs that she didn't like as a child. And so she's like, what is this song that's happening? She's like, I don't remember this musical number at all. And she's like, I must have just fast forwarded through it a bunch of times and like not watched this part. But sure.
It is a long movie. Like it's not that, but I've heard so many people who like a 2 VHS thing and like only watch the first VHS. Like when Wistful Thinking, when Jordan and Kara covered The Sound of Music, I think one of them and their guest only ever watched the first VHS because like the second one's like a Nazi movie. You know what I mean? Like it becomes like a Nazi thing.
Yes,
but like people
yes,
just like it's the first half of the movie, just like, well, it's kind of a fun movie or whatever, right? So
yep, you're right.
I don't really like it is funny to be like fast forward or whatever. Like I remember my dad very vividly. We've probably talked about this before of like the like 90s bootlegging or whatever. Like he had 2 VCRs like stacked on top of each other, and we would rent a movie and like you would play it through the other one and record it or whatever. So I could see maybe like instead of just like loading into like Final Cut or iMovie or something, being like, well, just chop this off because like Rachel doesn't like it or whatever. I can see my dad maybe if you want to be like really ambitious,
pause,
manually editing, fast forward or whatever, then record or whatever. But
pause, then record again, and it just like clips that out of it. Yeah.
Maybe it's just a difference of like decades, but it feels like kids' movies now are all like barely getting to 80 minutes or 90 minutes or whatever. And then here it's like, well, this is 2.5 hours. Like it's like a thing, like it's a movie.
Yeah, but you can properly sit your child down. They didn't have iPads, Joey. You know, you put this fucker on, and you're like, I don't have to watch. I don't think
they made it for the home audience because it's not like that you had like VHS or whatever, right? Like you
doesn't matter.
Just like put them in a theater and just have them shut up for 2.5 hours.
I mean, hopefully that's the goal, but I don't think it happens. But sure, yes, that's what I think that they were trying to achieve.
Probably, maybe, or they're just like, we have so many ideas.
Yeah.
I made a note about the Willy Wonka thing, which I said before, which feels
very
like...
Willy Wonka. We get to this thing.
This predates Willy Wonka.
Yeah, the dad, Dick Van Dyke, invents a candy that can whistle.
Yep, by accident, because
and Rachel's like, "Oh my god! Like, look at this thing." And I was like, "Didn't you have these whistle pops when you were?" I was like, "I am a candy connoisseur. We had these."
It's a toot sweet.
Yeah, no. But come on, what did we had like some whistle pop, right? Whistle
Probably.
pop, I think, was the name of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
It felt
had
like a thing
it had
that
like
existed.
a tube.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I
don't think I ever had them, but I remember them being a thing.
Why did you not have them?
I don't know. I had other candy.
Okay, I was saying, like, were you anti-lolly or like what? I was trying to learn something about you. Like, why would you not gravitate towards this fun candy?
I remember like the candies like that we had. That I remember having a lot of like were ring pops, which are not.
Yeah.
But it was that. What else was there?
Saved by the rave community themselves.
That tracks. Also saved by the rave community maybe is like the Smarties like necklaces or whatever and the bracelets.
Yeah, candy necklaces. Yeah, yeah.
One candy story I will never forget because I felt so sick was one Saturday, must have been 2000.
This is already starting hot. I see the look on your face. It's amazing. Go ahead.
It must have been 2002 or 2003 maybe. I remember I played an entire afternoon, so probably from like noon to 7 or 8. I just played Tony Hawk 3 on GameCube, and I ate an entire box of Gobstoppers. And at the end of it, my mouth was so coated with sugar, and I was so sick that I was just like, I don't know how to fix this. Like, it was just like,
water,
but I just kept going. And just like, well, I might as well just keep, like, gobstopping.
Yeah.
Because, like, they were fun, and, like, my mouth was, like, every single color.
You gobbed until you had to stop.
But I remember, like, just playing the same levels in Tony Hawk over and over again with, like, different characters and beating the game with every character so I could get Trixie or whatever the unlock was.
Yeah.
An entire box of Gobstoppers. And not, like, pounding, like, 8 in my mouth at a time or whatever, but, like, a couple in my mouth.
Over 8 hours.
For 8 hours.
Yeah.
And then at the end being like, oh, this is a bad idea.
That sounds like a great idea. Mm-hmm. I probably did the exact same thing at some point.
So the movie makes it seem like the toot sweets are dog whistles because all the dogs roll up, but like we're not supposed to be able to hear dog whistles, and the people in the movie can definitely hear the dog whistles. So there's a little bit of movie logic there.
It's just a different frequency. Maybe it's hitting both frequencies at the same time.
Toot sweets?
Yeah, exactly. We just don't hear the high pitch.
I guess. Does that happen? Can you make two noises at the same time?
I mean, you look at the waveform of your recording right now, bud.
But like but I mean...
It could. A whistle, sure. Yeah. I think.
So anyway, after that, we get to the fair, and I wrote here, it's hard to find connective tissues between these songs, but I'm just having fun watching Dick Van Dyke.
The songs are good. The songs are catchy, too. They're pretty fun.
And then it's the song that you talked about before, where he is learning on the fly how to sing and dance, and gets tipped out, and gets the 30 shillings, and buys the car to make his kids happy.
And then he comes home and goes full Dom Toretto.
Into the garage, not out.
Locks himself in the garage, wrenching away, fixing this old car up.
It's very cool.
It's really cool. And yeah, he fixes the car up. He chromes it all out. Everybody, they like show up and he pulls it out and they're like, oh shit, you fixed the car. And so they go for their first ride.
Part of me is just like, this guy just spent 30 shillings on this car. He could flip it like immediately for like a couple hundred shillings. You know what I mean? Like he just put like wrench time in. It looks beautiful.
But all he's trying to do is make his kids happy, bro. It has nothing to do with the car. Yeah. It has nothing to do with the car.
And so as they're driving away, I hear the engine making the chitty chitty. It sounds like chitty chitty bang bang, but he's like, it's just chitty chitty, and then the car bang bangs. But the engine noise itself sounds like chitty chitty bang bang.
It does, yeah.
And they sing the song, which is kind of all I knew about it. And I sort of have it stuck in my head, but also like it's already lost from my head. But I never knew that the name of the movie was the sound. Like I didn't know that was the thing. Okay.
I did, and also for everybody else that's listening that isn't you, I cannot hear that song and not think of the Mr. Garrison version from South Park that I will not repeat on air.
It is not in my head, but I encourage people to, because I don't really watch South Park.
Either laugh at that or not watch that.
Or not.
Or not watch that. Yeah, but yes, whenever I hear this, I can just I can think of that. So I'm glad that I detoxed from that by hearing the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang version this time. So cool.
Nice. Yeah. Then there's like a series of like almost accidents on the road where Truly has to veer into the water. Like early in the movie, she veers into the water and backs out like it's no problem.
To miss the kids.
You got mud all over my car.
To miss the kids, yeah.
And then she veers into the same spot in the water, and she's just like, how am I supposed to get out? It's like, I don't know, lady. Like, you just did it before.
Yeah, and so Dick Van Dyke's like, it's cool. I'll just carry you out, and you just leave the car there. We'll get it towed.
Because she is also the daughter of the candy magnate who also becomes like the evil king in the town of Bulgaria later in the movie.
Bulgaria, top tier name.
Yeah. No children of Bulgaria. You also love that.
I do love that. It's my dreamland.
No daddy jacking in Bulgaria. Well, there's children. They're just like literally locked in a prison.
That's fine.
So Truly goes in the water, whatever, and then they sing Truly, Truly Scrumptious to her from the beach. And this is
Which is weird. Weird that
weird.
The kids tell her about how truly scrumptious she is. That's a little strange, but sure. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's whatever.
But this is where the movie pivots from being a movie about a wacky inventor who accidentally invents ostensibly like a Wonka level candy, right? Where it's just like, oh, this guy's going to be rich from selling the whistle, although maybe not because the dogs all come into the factory and like ruin the factory.
Whatever.
And so like whatever. But it's like, no. Forget all that. Now it's the same characters, but everybody else in the movie, this is Wizard of Oz, right? Where it's like, instead of Auntie Em or whatever, it's like now they're other people.
Exactly.
And so now instead of her father being the
because
candy
he starts
magnet,
telling the story.
Yep.
He starts telling the story. The daddy tells us a story while they're in the car, and he just begins on this fantastical story that is now the movie.
Yep. And so Chitty becomes a floating car because they're being pursued by pirates. It's like, oh, that's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah, very cool.
The green screen, because this movie is almost 60 years old, looks bad. But when they are like aerial shots, the car and the boat, it's like, looks amazing. Like they actually did that, which looks great.
Yeah, exactly. All of the shots of them in the car with it like driving, like everything behind them is terrible. Yep. It's like the worst thing you've ever seen. But then like anytime that you see anything like the Rube Goldberg machines and the car and the boat next to each other, you're like, this is insane. Like you actually built this thing. It works and looks like it.
And this is where there are then two like comically evil, like one with the Hitler mustache henchman out to steal Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yes.
But accidentally
because the king of Bulgaria wants it.
Yes, but accidentally steal the king's car because they also set up like a very Wile E. Cody, like they set up the tunnel.
So the tunnel thing was also very Fast and the Furious, like them like they like dip down into a tunnel.
Fast
and, like,
Five, yes,
yeah.
It's kind of fake, like in Looney Tunes, in Wile E. Coyote, they like doesn't Roadrunner like paint a tunnel that Wile E. Coyote like runs into and crashes because it's not actually.
Yeah, he always paints a tunnel on a wall that like looks like a tunnel, and he can always go through it. And then Wile E. Coyote's just like, and then he's like, wait, is that really a tunnel? And then like splat. Yes.
But here we have a real tunnel that they then put a piece of paper over to say tunnel, which is like okay, but they have like you're saying a Fast Five style pickup truck or flatbed or whatever that the car drives into to kidnap, but they kidnap the wrong car.
Yes, of course.
There's part of this, and there's a lot of like the back half of this movie where it becomes kind of a fantasy movie and of feels like a precursor to a lot of the 80s movies that Josh and Michael picked for us a couple of laps ago. Like there's a level of slapstick here that like works for the movie, but also feels out of place.
Yeah. I can see it.
I appreciate it, but it's also like, okay, we've like kind of dumbed this down now. Maybe it's like kids are probably getting bored. Like, let's bring them back with some like goofy shit.
Probably. I could see that. I think right after that, though, the next musical number was Posh, maybe. I think it might have been. Or maybe there was like one we like was like slow in between or something. But that one, I don't know what it sounds like today, but I was like, that one's a banger.
Posh?
Yeah. I don't know what it sounds like. I don't remember. But like whatever that one was.
Posh is the one where he's in the outhouse maybe, or the chicken coop or whatever. But there's no toilet in there. But it's like a little like outhouse sized thing.
Sure.
But that's the one while he's in there.
Well, yeah. When I was like watching that, I was like, I really like the sound of this one. This one's good.
So then we get to what I feel is the most Fast and Furious moment of the film.
100%.
And it's not the fact that car flies.
No.
It's the fact that
cars don't fly, Dom.
Cars don't fly, Dom, which I wrote down.
Yeah.
But it is the fact that they jump off a cliff and are plunging to their inevitable doom as the movie is like, intermission.
That's true, too. And I forgot that there's an intermission. That's right. There's like a full-ass intermission, yeah.
There's an intermission, then that comes back with a little musical number, and then it resumes them flying and then becoming the flying car. But I'm just like, this is the way to do it. Like, imagine if Fast 10 was like 5 hours long, and at the end of the 2.5 hour thing, it was just like, okay, they're flying, intermission, 2 minutes of like BT music or whatever, and then it picks back up and like, okay, now we get the rest of the movie.
That would be sick.
But
I guess that's what these people imagine, right? This is part A, part B, part 1, part 2.
Yeah. You know, to the point we've been making for years, and we talked about with Barry and whatever. Fast 10 came out 2 years ago. We are at least 2 years away. So instead of waiting like 4 minutes, it's at least 4 years.
Yeah, that's fair.
Doesn't feel fair.
Things got better. Capitalism won.
We made Hollywood great again.
We did.
But like, not only does the car fly, it like outer space flies. Like it's Fiero shit. Like it
goes right to, they go right to space.
Yep.
They Fast and the Furious themselves right into Fast and the Furious. I wonder how many people know that joke is kind of from here, because I didn't know. Like they have to go to space thing made sense to us, but like I would never have related it to Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, right? Like,
I will also say, in terms of like the Fast and Furious goes to space, I finished Barry's book. It's great, of course, but the whole like backstory of like, are we really going to go to space and like what that's going to be like and like how to get that, like the hive mind to get that for F9, because again, keeping in mind, and like he covers this in the book, F9 was the return of Justin Lin, who had been like, why the fuck why is everybody in mess? Like, oh, I didn't realize, like, because he was away for 2 movies or whatever. And so they don't reference Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Barry doesn't or whatever. Nobody mentions it. But like the idea probably when they're trying to rationalize it was like, well, maybe Chitty Chitty Bang Bang did it. We can do it too. They had a kind of a clunker of a car that they fixed up. Like we could strap a Fiero to a rocket ship. I don't know.
Exactly.
But then this is where the movie gets in the part where I was confused. It's like, well, the car is flying in outer space. Why are we going to Grandpa?
Yeah. This is where I'm lost. You need to carry me through most of this part.
So this is the part of the movie where the other big thing I saw on Letterboxd was people talking about nightmares and child-free societies and the child catcher.
Rachel says like, this is one of the scariest villains she ever remembers as a child.
Because if you're watching a kid, it's like, this is a kid who will like, again, we grew up with like stranger danger, like don't go to white vans, don't like take candy from strangers or whatever. But like these are like 2 little orphan kids or whatever, not orphan kids, but you know, like seemingly orphan kids in like 1909 who are being lured by the promise of toys and candy and then get kidnapped and brought to an underground jail.
Yes.
Because in Bulgaria, there's a rule, no children. And I'm like, this feels like they also literally like the toy maker has like a hidden underground bunker. Like this feels like Nazi Germany.
Yes, it is. It goes very Nazi very quick, Joey. It does.
Or, you know, Nazi wherever. Like,
yeah.
But it's like, oh my God. Like, okay, because there's the guy with the Hitler mustache, but now it's like, well, we're hiding, you know, the people who are not wanted in the country, but instead of people, like, it's just kids.
But I guess, I mean, like, we have to think about it. This idea was probably permeating everything at all the time. Like, they're not making any pandemic movies, right? Right.
Well, yeah, especially 20 years after the fact, like, they're like, we should still probably talk about that. That was pretty crazy, right?
Yeah. Still like, oh, shit, yeah, we did figure that out, didn't we?
And so they get kidnapped, but Dick Van Dyke goes down there. He's like, I got a plan to break us out, but you're going to help us do this. And so they dress up as toys. He is like this like floppy clown kind of thing.
Okay.
And she is a ballerina in a music box.
Yes.
And so they each have a song and dance number because they're like basically court gestures to entertain the king and distract the king. So when he gets involved, the kids can like drop down a hook, get him up. They can sort of bum rush everybody, capture the child catcher. Like it feels like this plan should not work, but somehow it goes off without a hitch.
Fast and Furious style, bud. What do we do best? Improvise.
Truly. What matters the most? Integrity.
Yeah.
But it also made me think about one of my favorite things that always happens in old movies that like, and maybe just kids movies or whatever, but like when people get caught in nets, like at one point they drop a big net on like everybody in the room and they're all like freaking out, just like, guys, like it's not moving, it's not tied to the ground, you can just like lift it and walk out or whatever.
Yeah.
Movies make nets seem like the scariest thing in the world, and just like,
do you remember there's like a famous tweet or something? It was like, man, I really thought quicksand was going to be a bigger part of my life in adulthood. And you're like, yeah, there's no quicksand. A giant net will not catch you.
I just watched a movie a couple of weeks ago because a podcast I listened to was covering it, but it's Krull from 1983. And it's, again, I wonder if Josh and Michael, to bring them up again, had seen this movie because it is like the same movie as all of those. But there is a quicksand scene in that movie where someone does die to quicksand. It's just like, oh, wow. Okay. Like, I think is it The Neverending Story when Atreyu drowns in the quicksand there too.
Yeah.
But
did I tell this at that point that I watched this like Vice thing about like people whose fetish is quicksand?
I feel
and there's
like
very little quicksand content, so there's like 6 quicksand
nobody's making
scenes.
any more, probably, right? I bet
that's
those
what I'm
people
saying.
Probably like, can Dune please? There's sand. Like let's just go the next thing over.
But yeah, there's like a bunch of dudes, and they're like, no, there's like one hot babe that gets stuck in quicksand, and they're like, that's the fucking scene. We all know it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unlike the harmless net, they catch the child catcher in a real net because they like drop a net on the ground, and then the kids all like have like clubs or whatever and push him toward the middle, and then that net gets pulled up, so he's like in like a trap, like a snare.
Yeah. You can hang them. Yeah.
Chitty self drives its way into the room.
Beautiful.
Everybody loads up, and they're like, "Good luck, kids." And then we fly off, and this is the weird thing where like it pivots back from fantasy to reality. Dick Van Dyke saying like, and they made Bulgaria a free country where children could play. And it's just like, well, we don't need to know that because he's telling the story to the kids.
Yes.
Who just lived it. But also, I guess if you're thinking about it, like they didn't just live it because they just
imagined
the
it.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were like, but doesn't it end with you and truly getting married? He goes, no, that's crazy. Do not do that.
That's insane. Yeah.
And then he goes to her. He's like, that's crazy, right? She's like, if I said that to you, you would have said that's crazy. And she like storms off. And then like he wins her back over. They get married, happy ending, outro music.
We're like at a birthday party at the end. That's my last note that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like we're at a birthday party.
This movie is like it's just like the structure is so weird, and I don't mind it because it's like it's made for kids and it's supposed to be goofy and supposed to be all over the place. But I'm just like, I almost like, and I was sober. I almost literally can't follow why we go from one scene to the next scene.
Yeah, for sure.
But also the movie's like, don't worry about that. Just have fun.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, just have fun. Just a spectacle. Dick Van Dyke's great. Did you see this?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good. Car flies.
Yep.
It's cool thing.
Yep. So some trivia about the movie. Do you have any other notes about it or no?
Somehow the whole part in Bulgaria kind of felt Christmassy. Like a very like Scrooge type situation.
I think anytime you see kids with like soot on their faces, it's like that's poor people at Christmas.
Yeah, right. Okay, cool. Bulgaria kind of looked and felt like Hogwarts in a way.
Okay, sure.
Which I think plays into the Christmassy, because Harry Potter always feels like Christmas too. And then no, that's the end of my notes.
Cool. Yeah. So some trivia about this movie: the current owner of the Chitty car is Peter Jackson, who bought
that makes sense.
An auction, I think, in 2011 for $805,000.
Pretty crazy.
In 1990, Michael Jackson saw it at a charity rally and offered £500,000, like $600,000, to buy it, and he was turned down because, like, we want the car to remain in the UK. We don't want you to bring it to the US. So Michael Jackson's like, I want that car. He's like, forget it. So then 20 years later, Peter Jackson bought it, and apparently when they were making the Hobbit movies, he was like driving around set.
Oh, that's weird. Okay. And did he keep it is Peter Jackson British? I don't know.
They filmed, I think they filmed at least the Lord of the Rings. I don't know if they filmed the Hobbit, but like that's all New Zealand shit. So like maybe 20 years later, they didn't care. They're like, we'll just take $1 million for it. Like, that's fine. That's cool.
Yeah, that's what I think so too.
There were 7 different Chitties that were built. There was a worn out one, which we saw. That's like the early movie one.
The first one, yeah.
The restored one, which is just the regular one driving around. One for the flying scenes. One for the water scenes.
Makes
and then
sense.
3 partial models for various other scenes. So like we knew from there's
going to be the
Fast
like
5,
the
there's like
one,
5 different vault ones, right?
There's like 5 different vault ones. They're going to have one that's like them like for the shots in front of a green screen that's like only a bench and whatever, right? That we don't need like the outside shots. It all makes sense. Yeah.
Then the Bulgarian airship was called the Chitty Bang Bang, just one Chitty, was designed based off a 1904 Labadie 2, was built in 1967 by a balloon company. Once construction was finished, it became the first helium-powered aircraft built by the United Kingdom, and the developer, the founder of the company, and explorer Anthony Smith and professional stunt pilot Derek Piggott flew it for 11 hours total before a storm flew them into power lines, destroying the airship.
They survived or they died?
It didn't mention, so I'm assuming they survived.
Wild. Okay, cool.
But yeah,
very cool.
Like, okay, we built this thing for the movie. We're going to fly it around and be like, well, okay.
We probably shouldn't have done that.
And then 2 of the little things about it. Dick Van Dyke was apparently smoking up to 40 cigarettes a day at the time. It was just like, man, this dance was hard. because he's like probably constantly out of breath, and yet he still looks like that.
And he still chain smokes. Like, that's insane. Yeah,
smoking 4 packs a day or whatever.
4 packs a day is a job. Like, I know that you don't have context for that, but like 4 packs a day is like,
especially like if you're like spending the rest of your time like singing and dancing like on set. It's like
that's
they
20
and,
cigarettes
like,
times
runs
4.
Up, like a lit cigarette to like put, you know.
Yeah, 20 cigarettes times 4, Joey.
Oh no, sorry, it's 2 packs a day then. 2 packs a day, 40 cigarettes.
Okay. Still, that's 40 cigarettes. How long does a cigarette take to smoke? 3 minutes, 4 minutes?
I also wonder if he's like, if they have like a couple minutes, like he just like smokes half a cigarette then puts it out. Or, I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
And then Phil Collins says he was one of the children storming the castle at the end, but says that he got edited out because he had a really big, unsightly bandage on his head that was covering his cyst. But he's like, I was in the movie. It's like, okay, guy, whatever.
Like Phil Collins.
Like Phil Collins, yeah.
Okay.
Like father of Lily Collins, Emily, and Paris herself.
Yeah, that story is believable because that's something that I would tell. Like why would Phil Collins make up that he was in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and was cut because of his bandage on his head? Like that's like just too real. That sounds so real.
It's a weird detail because it's also like it's not flattering. It's just like I was in a movie
No.
Didn't cut me out.
Yeah.
It does feel like kind of like, oh yeah, like I got a girlfriend but she lives in Canada or whatever. It's like, well, okay. Like
it
it feels
does,
like a story you tell
but
in like in middle school, not when you're Phil Collins.
But at the same time, this probably, like, when you're in middle school, you told this story and everybody's like, yeah, whatever, dude. You know what I mean? Like, He's telling all of his friends, like, guys, I was in this movie. And they're like, shut up. What are you talking about, Phil Collins?
Mm-hmm.
Not famous guy. Shut up. And then he, like, eventually is like, no, I was really in this movie. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
And
like, okay, Phil Collins.
Yeah, okay, Phil Collins. Sure.
All right, we were going to watch the trailer. We're back to our friends Rotten Tomatoes classic trailers. Of course, should come as no surprise. The trailer is more than 3 minutes long. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
How long is it? Oh, 3:18. So not like the worst.
No. Official trailer number 1, James Robertson Justice movie HD.
James Robertson Justice movie. What does that mean?
He plays Lord Scrumptious.
Okay.
So
ready to hit play whenever you are.
Not Dick Van Dyke movie, but James Robertson Justice movie. Comments are turned off.
That was weird. Okay, sure.
3, 2, 1, play.
Okay, here's him trying to fly with the rockets.
This is Caractacus Potts, inventor extraordinaire.
Caractacus Potts. I forgot that's his name. Good name, too.
At first it was hard getting his dreams.
I do love the, like, literally ripped from film with, like, the crackles and stuff like that. Like, this is...
Oh, yeah.
And a beautiful sweetheart.
She's truly scrumptious.
2 charming kids.
The kids are pretty cute in this, too. Like, they're pretty good.
Although this makes it seem like they're the Shining Twins. Like, it's just like, this is a little creepy.
It does. It is, yeah. We could have took a turn where they start murdering.
And an adventurous grandfather.
This is your song.
Yes.
This is Posh.
Yes. Yes, I like this one. That one was so much fun. That one's fucked. That's a good song.
Magical car. It floats.
The floating car is genuinely so impressive.
There's Hogwarts.
Wherever it goes.
And there's
Train and
Hogwarts Express.
Car. Yep.
It's also very funny that it's just Ian Fleming's Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. It's just like, you love Bond, you're going to love this.
This
like
feels
nobody...
like 3 trailers stitched together, now that I think. Right?
Known only in lullabies.
Like, it feels to me like Bob Clark is a guy who made A Christmas Story and Black Christmas. And to me, I'm just like, you like one or the other. Like, you don't love both. Like, they're both Christmas movies, but like one is like the Christmas classic that I don't particularly love, that Margaret loves, and Black Christmas, which I love and she for some reason doesn't like. But here it's like Ian Fleming wrote Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and wrote James Bond. It's like nobody likes both those. Maybe they do, probably do, but like
yeah,
they're very different.
Very different.
Of the nasty Baron Bombburst, who ruled over the evil kingdom of
Oh, that one's fun though. I like that he puts him in the cage. That was a cool shot.
It's very cool. I mean, he's really good at what he does. Like, he has 100% success rate. There are no kids in that town.
Fucking got rid of him.
And music.
This somehow does not spoil the movie, even though it's 3.5 minutes long.
Yeah.
Maybe because it's hard to spoil the movie.
Here's a bunch of slapstick stuff. Yeah.
That's the crazy, the floppy clown thing.
Lionel Jeffries as Grandpa Potts. Gert Frobe as the nasty Baron Bombburst. Anna Quayle, James Robertson Justice, Benny Hill.
Yeah, Benny Hill, I forgot.
And Heather Ripley and Adrian Hall as the children.
And there's your
This
dance.
is it. Yeah, this is it. Like, I don't necessarily like this song, but he's crushing on this performance.
No, because, like, I think when I was watching this, I wasn't even listening to the music. I was just, like, watching him.
Continuous performances at popular prices. Direct from its reserved seat presentation.
What a trailer. At
Yeah,
popular
artists.
prices.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
At one point, Rachel looked at me and goes, I promise you only hear this song at least 3 more times.
Yeah, I mean, part of me was like, we're going to hear it like 10 times. Like, it could have been worse, maybe. You know, I don't know.
It could have been worse. Yeah, I think so, too.
But yes. Okay. We've not played in a while. We've not played since Hard Eyes, which we did
Might be a little
at
rusty.
the end of September. So it's maybe like 6 weeks since we recorded one of these. But the Letterbox game.
Oh, this is going to be massive.
Mad Max Fury Road is up to 2.8 million. It might have been at 2.8, but it feels like it was at 2.7. I don't know. But it's at 2.8 million. 2.81 million. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang from 1968, directed by Ken Hughes, starring Dick Van Dyke, Sally Ann Howes, and Lionel Jeffries, has been seen by how many people?
Just for like a barometer, I want to start at 375,000.
You are too high.
Too high. Okay. Give me 125,000.
You are too low.
Okay,
One
so
more
I'm
guess.
I'm temp testing. 189.
141,373. 141,373.
That seems much lower than I expected, just because, like, I know that although this is a very old movie, it is Dick Van Dyke and kind of a classic. Like,
It's
you
a
would
movie I've
think
never
that
heard talked about a lot.
that's
a
what
lot,
I
a lot.
mean, right? So yeah, interesting. Okay.
Average rating of a 3.5, most common a 3, then a 4, then a 3.5, then a 5. How many people on Letterboxd.com, a site for movie lovers, I don't know if that's a catchphrase, it might be, have put Chitty Chitty Bang Bang in their top 4 favorite films of all time?
It has no recency bias, but I still think it's heavy. I start me at 315.
You are too low.
Okay. 1,200.
You are too high. One more.
Oh fuck! I'm recalibrating, guys. Give me 475.
871.
Insane.
a
That's
lot.
still a ton. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
We're going to go to one Phoenix 666 who reviewed this in April of 2023, said Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, you guys. And then September of 24 just says, now why was I giggling during the old bamboo? Don't know.
Okay.
But Danny on Letterboxd, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is their number 4 favorite film of all time.
Okay. I'm strapping in. What do we
Numbers
got?
1, 2, and 3. None of these are easy to get, but
Sure.
there are paths to get each of these. The first one is the one that's farthest from the podcast. However, and there's no way you're going to remember this, I was saying to you that I was asking our friend ChatGPT,
That's not my friend, by the way. I am firmly, staunchly anti-AI.
our
Sure.
co-host, our third chair.
Perfect.
I was like, our goal with the podcast, not our goal, but one of our goals is I want to cover every Tarantino
Listen,
movie.
hey,
like,
Grok.
Hey, Grok, is this real?
Yeah.
I want to put each Tarantino movie into a lap, but I'm struggling. Like, you know, the next lap we're doing 17, we can do one of the movies, but I'm like, there's still 4 or 5 movies. I'm like Django Unchained, like the best idea I have is like, I don't know, the South, and like watch like Lucas Black movies, which I don't want to do. And so I was
Yeah.
like, here's a list of movies. Here's a list of laps we've done. Here's
Which
the movies
is
we need to
genius.
place.
This is actually a really great use for AI. Yeah.
And I'm like, what laps could we do? What would you suggest? Like, give a theme.
Like, make them
and also
thematic. Yeah.
some, you know, movies that people who like the movies we've covered would like. The first movie is one of those movies.
Oh, I don't remember.
I know. The only reason I remember this as a list, a movie on the list, is because next to it, ChatGPT's just said it's a little bit of an outlier, but I think your fans would enjoy it.
I don't know.
I will say that it has 3 different endings,
Oh, that's a good hint if I knew what that meant.
and it aired in theaters with 3 different endings, and made people buy multiple tickets to go see multiple endings.
Oh, no, I don't remember this. What is it? Is
It was before you were born. Nope.
3 different endings to the same movie before I was born.
Yep.
I don't know. What is it? Tell me.
It's based on a board game.
Based on a board game, but not Jumanji, because I was born.
That also has one ending.
Clue.
Clue.
Thank you.
Have you seen the trailer for the new Anaconda movie?
No, not actively. Maybe in a theater that I wasn't watching it in. Jack Black, right?
Premise of it is they are rebooting Anaconda, and Jack Black is like, hey, Paul Rudd, we're going to reboot Anaconda. And they have to go get a snake, and then immediately in the movie, according to the trailer, they kill a snake. And so they have to go make a movie or whatever, and they find like a real Anaconda. But it's like a very meta thing that Margaret's like, this looks terrible. But like Mark Hoffmeyer, friend of the show, very excited for it. Okay. I'm somewhere in between. I'm like, this could be really bad or it could be fun. I'm just tired of Jack Black.
I might watch it drunk.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll watch it drunk at night in our house, for sure.
Okay. Danny's number 2 is not a movie, but a TV show. But it's a TV show that's a one season, like a limited series. Okay. And it is maybe Rachel's favorite thing.
Haunting of Hill House.
Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah. So he has taste of Rachel's.
Yeah. And then number 3...
keep her away from Danny.
I think Danny is I don't know. I don't know their pronouns because their avatar is also a cartoon. But I love the movie Xanadu, so they're probably queer because Xanadu also queer-coded. Their third favorite movie we covered last lap.
Debs.
Is
it really?
Mm-hmm.
Good guess. Off
so
the rip.
when there were 900
it.
people I could pick from, I opened up 5 profiles that had reviews, and I was just like, oh, Clue, Hill House, Debs, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Okay.
Fucking A, yeah. Rachel loves Clue, too. She, super loves Clue, the movie.
Clue, Hill House, Debs, and...
Maybe this is Rachel's burner account. She's Danny on Letterboxd.
Danny writes a lot of reviews, like, like local Twitter, but this is like local Letterboxd, where it's just like, Mars is going to show this to their dad. Peyton thought this was hilarious. He's like, I don't know who these people are. Why are these public reviews?
Dude, let Danny live.
Danny, I need context. Who is Peyton?
Yeah, tell me about what is Peyton like?
Is it
what
Peyton Manning? Does Peyton Manning think that Wild Tales is hilarious? Maybe.
Maybe it's Peyton Manning's daughter.
And then Mars, I'm like, Romy Mars? But that's, you wouldn't call Romy Mars our favorite girl.
Yeah.
Oh, I just got a spam text, but it's very appropriate for the show. Do you want to barbecue together this weekend?
Fuck yeah. Well, yeah,
you can have
my house or yours.
As long as...
My house or yours.
I'm just not going to respond. It just...
Yeah, I usually just delete them, sure.
Delete mark a spam, which I don't think actually does anything.
I don't think that does anything either, brother.
Our next episode, Joe, is A Life in the Fast Lane. We're going to get back to the Tokyo Drift minute.
Cool.
Vin Diesel has been posting. He's not been posting crazy, but I keep checking. I've seen a few pop up, none of which have been long enough. But I will say, in case you're wondering, he did make a Veterans Day post.
Nice. Is it a picture of his mom this time? Because he posted a picture of himself when he thanked his mom.
No, his mom was on another one. No, there's he's not calling it a victory day.
Is there a picture of him from Saving Private Ryan?
No.
In uniform?
No.
Oh, fuck.
I want to tell you more about other posts, but we can save it for next week. It's
save it. Yeah.
But yes, today was Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Then we're doing that, and then the next episode after that will be Too Fast, Too Furious.
Sounds good.
Back at it. But Joe, anything else to say in this episode?
I'm actually kind of glad we watched that. It actually does feel weirdly appropriate that we should have covered it, and it is a classic car movie in its own way, and it's fun. It was fun. Like I said, I'm not planning to revisit that anytime soon, but I enjoyed it.
We are not explicitly going old to new, but most of the movies are kind of following old to new. So there are a couple that are out of order a little bit, but this is, I think, the oldest movie we will be covering this lap. I think it's important, and I also was
do too.
Surprised at sort of how fast it was.
Sort of how fast. That's what. That was the other last point.
Little bit.
Last point that I wanted to make was that we say this a lot, but it's important watching these older movies for context of how much do you think was stolen from this movie later on, right? You know what I mean? From Willy Wonka on, sometimes it's good to watch these classics just to be we always say going to space is Fast and the Furious, but they went to space 60 years before Fast and the Furious. So.
Yep. Joe, I want to give a shout out to our patrons.
Do it.
Alex Ellen and Justin Kleiman, Brian Rodriguez of High School Slumber Party, Wes Hampton, Jerry Robinson, Dan the Duke, Hayden Renato, DiDonato, Michael McGann, Lean Middleton, Lindsay Lewandowski, Jason Rainey, Tom Price, Josh Buckley of Whole Lotta Wolves, Michael Moser, Christian Larson, Taryn Newman, Aaron Willows, Natalie Absolute, Randy Carter, Alex Walsh, Jack Haley, and Jessica Collins, a.k.a. Montez. Thank you all for supporting the $5 a month level or above. One other note, not about the movie, but I just remembered because you talked about last time we mentioned Josh, Whole Lotta Wolves. You talked about the Wolves hiring a coach. Saw a think piece today about why Mike Tomlin would be a perfect fit for the New York Giants.
This is so funny because the national news ran with that, and the local news was running with why Brian Daboll would be a great offensive coordinator for the Steelers and help unlock Will Howard as a quarterback whisperer. So both news things are shipping each coach the other way right now. Really funny.
I don't think Daboll will be a good fit anywhere. Maybe Tomlin. Maybe
he was the OC. He was the OC for Buffalo when Josh Allen got good. He's been with Jackson Dart. They're like, he's pretty decent.
He's gonna be great if you want to throw your rookie quarterback into like head-on concussions. But
okay, so look, I think Jackson Dart is also a crayon eater, and I don't think he needed any help getting suggested to get concussed. I think that him, much like Cam Scatabo, they probably both just smashed their heads off each other all day, and there was nothing that Daboll was doing that was putting him in a compromised situation, I don't think. I think that kid is perfectly fine giving himself CTE, just based on how he acts. So I don't think Brian Daboll should catch slack for that.
Okay, fair enough. I'm Joey Lewandowski.
I'm Joe too.
And we will tell you all about it
when we see you again.